I know you just talked about Baidu. The pattern kind of looks similar to
Yes.
Priceline. Priceline gapped up, I think, a couple days ago, and it's at all-time high. When you look at the AB,
I can do Priceline if you give me a second. What's the symbol for Priceline?
PCLN.
PCLN.
Yes.
Let's pull it up here, and maybe we can look at it together because I've never done it before. Wow, that's one gap. Always try to buy before it gaps up, folks. That's part of my $35,000 advanced courses. You want to buy on the day before it gaps up that much. It's quite important. Boy, Mr. Shatner must have made a whole lot of money on this particular thing. Now, this stock is not a butterfly pattern, but it looks like it's a 3-drive pattern. It certainly did. What caused it to gap up that much?
I think the earning report.
They're being bought out by somebody or what?
No. Significant earning report, I believe.
Oh, well, that doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, see, it stopped exactly at the 1.27 of that move. I'd be willing to sell that stock. Probably the best way, it's been up 1, 2, 3 days at this spot right here. I'll be really surprised if it gets much higher than where it is right now. It's exactly at the 1.27 of this swing. In other words, from this low to that high, the 127 is at just about 300. I'd be willing to sell it at 299.5 and risk about $3 or $4. I don't think it'll do too much worse than that. I would go down just to be safe. Is go down to a 30-minute chart and see if there's really nothing there. So you have to go back to the daily. So it's very close to a high, and gaps usually get filled. You see this gap that got filled over here? These gaps will be filled, especially big ones like this. And I don't know what the volume on this is, but my guess is it's not as high as some of the others. I believe this is the best performing stock since 2000, either because Google wasn't in it in 2000, nor was Baidu or any of these others, but I heard on the news that this is it, because William Shatner he's a big owner of this. I don't know, he did all the commercials for free. All he took was stock, and he's made like $400 million on the stock. So one of his smarter things, Scotty must have beamed him up the right way on that one. But there's no way of predicting the market's going to gap up like that on earnings. I don't. That's why I don't like stocks that much, because they pull games, and believe me, especially banks. Believe it or not, the banks are the worst.
Okay, I have one last question. When you're looking at the ABCD waves, how do you know the uptrend waves or downtrend waves are violated? I was talking to a friend of mine. He said when the prior low or prior high is taken out, then you start the ABCD wave count all over again.
Well, I hope I understand the question correctly, but let me just show you what I think. I'll just pick something else out here. We'll pick out Microsoft, and this might be a pretty good idea. See, this is my ultimate, oh shucks, just let me get rid of Baidu here. This is my ultimate target on Microsoft, is down here around 19, I think, or something. Yeah, right around 19. See, this has not violated my Microsoft target yet. I've got a big ABCD here, and then the market rallied back to a 786. This target is valid. Now, if it went above this point, then the ABCD would be invalid. Do you follow me?
Yes.
That's what I look at, because once it violates that, then I would say that would be it. Let me show you why the market is so bearish. This is the New York Stock Exchange Index, and this is all the large stocks in the world. I mean, this is, all of them. I mean, this is all the big ones. You can see we're right at the 61% retracement, and we did it in perfect AB equals CD format. So even if we're up a little bit on Monday or Tuesday, we're not going to get too higher than 72.12, which is, within a few ticks of where the New York Stock Exchange Index. These are all the large stocks in the world, foreign and domestic. And that's why it's the biggest indicator, and you can't play games with this thing. I mean, they can play games with the NASDAQ because there's only 100 stocks in there, but they can't play games with this one. This is too big.
So if this, what is that 718 he talked about? If that high got taken out, do you think the
Now, if
market will
that high
continue to
got
rally?
taken out, it would just mean they would be completing the Fibonacci retracement from the April high. That's at 72.12. It might miss it by a little bit, but most probably it'll come really, really close. The last time we did this, from this high that we had back here to the low, you see it went through the 618 and almost made the 786. But this was in the morning, and then look what it did. Never closed below above it. See, this was just early morning, the first hour of trading that morning. So this is why these numbers are so darn powerful. They come really close to being exact a lot. You have to respect them.
So what number would that be on S&P 500?
1134.
Thank you.
This is Forex. As you can see, we're within a few ticks of the exact 618. We made a 3 drive to a bottom here back in November, on November 23rd. These bottoms were perfectly symmetrical from low to low to low. It was a big A, B, C, D, and this was a 786 coming off of a low way back there. We rallied all the way up here. Now we're making a 61% retracement in the dollar index. The problem is most people don't trade the dollar index. They're trading the Canadian, the yen, and all these other things. And all of these major currencies, let me just show you a couple of them. Here's the British pound. They're all doing the same thing. There's the British pound right at the 618 on this big picture. Let me see if I can make it so that you can see the whole thing real quick here. Yeah, there it is, blown up a little bit, but there's the British pound. It's exactly at the 61% retracement from the last July high. I'm talking about within 5 pips, kids. I mean, give me a break. This thing was right spot on, just like it was on the bottom here at the 786. So we're right at the moment of truth in the U.S. dollar. And you can go through one after another, and you're going to see that all of these are very, very similar patterns that are forming that are right near, major bottoms. Here's 3 drive to a bottom in the Japanese yen. And these patterns are, very, very good. So I have to assume that the U.S. dollar is getting ready to rally, so who knows. I knew who this question is, a euro versus the Swiss. I don't even know if I don't trade that one, but I will look and see if I have it. Yeah, I do have euro Swiss. I have an hourly, but I don't have 4 hourly. And I don't see a 3 drive here at all in this particular one. I don't believe. If this is what you're talking about, you're right. There is a 3 drive right here because this is drive 1, this is drive 2, this is drive 3, and that would take you to this level right about here. That's quite a bit up, but that would be a 3 drive pattern. It would be quite symmetrical. Right at that. Whoa! I hit the wrong button. Sorry, guys. This software for $50 a month is worth its weight in gold. But that's the ABCD pattern that was there. We're very, very close to it. It's not. In fact, we might already have met it. We don't know yet because this is not very much in money. I mean, we're only talking about 10 pips. So this might have already made it. And so once we would have to correct more than this to make sure that was in it, but it's very, very close to the thing. So that's what it looks like to me. That is a 3 drive pattern, correct? But there's so many of them. I don't have time to go through all of them. I could do one more, and that's a Canadian. Is another one that looks like it's really really spot on for getting ready to turn. In fact, I'm doing a special report on the U.S. dollar this weekend, and these are the things that I'm watching. There's the long-term U.S. dollar versus Canadian dollar. We just completed a perfect Gartley pattern. There's your A, B, C, D. If you just put your tool in, you could see that it's completing these patterns right near the 786 retracement. We hit it exactly on Thursday, and we had a pretty big rally telling you that maybe this is going to be it. But these ABCD patterns work. You can see one here. There's a low, and there's a high, and there's the other corresponding high. I mean, I would think stuff like this would be rather important in your trading. And you see another one, there's your high, and there's your low, and there's your low. I mean, there's another one in here. Here's your high, here's your low, there's your high. You learn to do these, folks. It's a good thing to hang your hat on.
The question from Steve Rhodes was, what is the relevance of the Venus? He's got conjunct Uranus this morning, but actually it's an opposition, I believe. So what his question is, what's the relevance of the Venus-Uranus aspect this morning?
Just a second, honey. Hand me the red book. They're right there. That one, yeah. Let me take a look. I'll double check, because I would, if I have to bet on anybody, I'm going to bet on Steve, because that boy. And today happens to be the it's a Venus opposition Uranus.
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
It's opposition, so that's 180 degrees. That usually has a negative connotation. In other words, the market should it should release itself and start down, but it's just a probability, because sometimes they reverse. But it happens to be the Fibonacci level, so my assumption is that it's probably getting ready to go down.
All right, I have a question from Mike Reason. What is your opinion of the geocentric astrological viewpoint, biblical versus the heliocentric viewpoint promoted by most academics, even from the time of Pythagoras' day, knowing that one's frame of reference is integral in determining planetary alignment? How can we be certain of any alignment?
The answer to that question is maybe. No, the answer to the question is what the way I did it was, once I started looking into astrology, I watched what the old guys were doing. Basically, Kepler, Newton, Da Vinci, Galileo, all of those guys were geocentric. They used geocentric. Now, I know people, especially Vedic astrologers, use heliocentric. Heliocentric means it's sun-centered. Geocentric means it's earth-centered. The astrologers that I really respect tell me that it's like going into a baseball game. You're looking at it from the third base side or the first base side. You're seeing the same game from a different perspective, but you should come out with the same type of alignment. J.P. Morgan used a full-time astrologer named Evangeline Adams during the 1900s to 1929 when she died. She died in August of 29, right before the top. And she basically used both of those to come up with the same answers. And of course, the comment that's attributed to J.P. Morgan was, millionaires don't use astrologers, billionaires do. But folks, I have never found the holy grail in astrology. All I have is a few little things that work some of the time. It's just all pattern related, and it's all probability related. If you follow them, you'll make a couple of bucks. Whether you're going to get rich or not, it's not going to be determined upon me. It'll be determined upon you, but it will feed your family, and that much I feel pretty strong. Do any other patterns that I use other than these? These are my bread and butter patterns: the 3-drive, the butterfly, the Gartleys, and the ABCDs. There's very few patterns that I use other than that. There's one called 3 peaks in a domed house, which is nothing more than 4 drives to a top. It's very rare. We're having one of those in the Indian stock market. It's absolutely a perfect textbook example of the Indian stock market, is the 3 peaks in a domed house. And all of the other indices, the major ones of the major BRIC countries, are all making very bearish Gartley patterns now. So we are knocking on the door. We're going to see if it works, but everything is here to say that we're ready to turn down.